Fighters of the 65th Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces have repelled another assault by the invading Russian army near the town of Kharkiv in Zaporizhzhia region. The invaders, who attempted to advance using tanks and armored personnel carriers equipped with anti-drone systems, were stopped by drone and artillery strikes. As a result of strikes from various artillery systems and kamikaze drones, at least 7 armored vehicles and more than 30 invading soldiers were destroyed before they could approach the Ukrainian army's positions.
On the night of September the 1st, the Ukrainian military made another attempt to attack Russian targets in Crimea and Kuban using attack drones. During the attack, an American strategic high-altitude reconnaissance drone, Northrop Grumman RQ-4B Global Hawk, was in the skies over the Black Sea, which was probably adjusting the attack. The presence of the drone was signaled by the U.S. Air Force monitoring resources, monitoring the airspace, says Russian media. Before this outrageous incident, Western reconnaissance aircraft, including those representing the U.S. Air Force, both manned and unmanned, were engaged in surveillance and transmitting data to the Ukrainians, and recently usually left the region right before the attacks of the Ukrainian armed forces, as if pretending that we are not there, it was not us. However, this time the Americans did not, hypocritically and shyly. On August the 31st, the aforementioned RQ-4B Global Hawk, with the call sign Fort 10, once again took off from the NATO naval airbase Sigonella in Sicily and proceeded through the skies of Greece and Bulgaria into the airspace over the Black Sea. After that, moving at an altitude of 16 kilometers, it began flying near Sevastopol, Novorossiysk, Tuapse, and Sochi. The activity of the American drone lasted for several hours. It did not stop its work when a massive attack of Ukrainian attack drones on the territory of the Russian Federation began. According to Russian experts, they have no doubt that the aforementioned RQ-4B Global Hawk of the U.S. Air Force directly adjusted the raid of the Ukrainian armed forces. They believe that the Americans have once again changed their tactics. The experts recalled that after the inauguration of U.S. President Donald Trump, this RQ-4B Global Hawk did not appear in the region for several months. But in June, despite the incessant talk about negotiations with Moscow, Washington again sent its strategist to the region. Moreover, it is now directly involved in Kiev's missions against the Russian Federation and must be shot down. For example, this is the opinion of the head of the Center for the Study of Military and Political Conflicts, Andrei Klintsevich. But that's not all. Recently, this RQ-4B Global Hawk flew near the Leningrad and Pskov regions from the side of Latvia, Estonia, and Finland, carrying out its activities along the Russian border. As a result, the wreckage of the Ukrainian drone caused a fire at the Novatek terminal in the Ust-Luga seaport, and the work of the Pulkovo International Airport in St. Petersburg was paralyzed for several hours. As expected, Moscow has again increased the intensity of its air and missile strikes, but Ukraine certainly looks stronger in its confrontation at present. According to famous Western expert Andrew Tanner, the Ukrainians have recently focused on two types of targets: fuel infrastructure, especially oil refineries and railroads, including both bridges and trains. By using attack drones to plant enough anti-tank mines to bring down a bridge, sending kamikaze drones to disable much of the enemy's oil refining capacity, and hitting railroad hubs with UAVs and possibly the new Flamingo cruise missiles. The Ukrainians are clearly inflicting serious damage on the enemy, he added. The expert says that, and even leaving aside the high probability that Ukraine will unveil its own medium and short-range ballistic missile designs in the fall to rival ATACMS, already the ability to produce 30 large cruise missiles a month and over 200 by the end of the fall becomes almost a tipping point in the battle for Ukraine. Since the Flamingos are large cruise missiles, a significant number of them will be shot down. But the use of decoys and attack drones virtually guarantees that in a salvo launch, at least some of the missiles will reach their target and deliver a devastating blow to any facility hundreds of kilometers deep into the empire. The warheads and propellant can still be optimized so that the claimed maximum range of 3,000 kilometers is indeed achievable, even taking into account the necessary maneuvering to deceive air defenses. If the size of the warheads can be reduced without loss of destructive capability. Strategic strikes alone do not win wars, but their impact on Putin's empire could be far more devastating than his own attacks on Ukraine, he added. Ukrainian retired Major Alexei Getman says that all Flamingo missiles launched by Ukraine reached their targets in Crimea. The Russians were unable to intercept them. This is connected with the attack of our Flamingos. The fact is that the important and main component of any anti-aircraft missile system is the radar station. It is the one that records the flight of the target, captures, tracks, and gives the command to the missile launchers to destroy the target. Without a radar station, the missile system does not work completely, Getman noted. According to him, the destruction of the radar from the S-400/300 systems provides a window of opportunity for time. Obviously, a new station will be brought in if the destroyed one cannot be repaired. Perhaps they will repair it on site. Technical issues still need to be resolved so that it can operate as part of the air defense system. This will take a certain amount of time, hours or a day. And in the place where the air defense has become less dense, we need to launch our attack weapons, the expert explained. In this way, Hetman noted, by destroying the radar stations of anti-aircraft missile systems, Ukraine opens the way for the flight of its missiles. And that is why all 3 Flamingos that were launched reached their targets. That is, the Russians were unable to intercept them. They arrived and destroyed the objects. He summed up.